During the pandemic, my love and appreciation for surfing grew. No longer was it simply a means for me to access the ocean, but I started to enjoy the act of surfing and was stoked to get better and better. When beaches in my hometown closed, my dad and I drove an hour north every couple of days just to get a session in. Being one of the only safe outdoor activities we could do, surfing not only became a way to socialize with my friends and a community out in the water, but also became my favorite form of exercise. I was so grateful that the sport I loved was accessible and got me out of the house. When I was younger, the ocean was a place of solitude and peace for me to escape the hectic world around me.
This was kind of like the first image that popped into my head just because when I was younger, I always loved just floating around in the water, whether it was a pool or a mountain lake, or usually it was the ocean, just because I spent most of my summers doing junior lifeguards, and the ocean has been a big part of my life since I was younger. And I really wanted to show because when I'm floating in the water, for me, it's a really peaceful and calming time because the sensory from the outside world is kind of blocked off.
Through surfing, I found movement that had been lost in my life by paddling for a wave, catching it well, or wiping out and paddling back out to catch another. Even tumbling in the whitewater became fun for me because of its stark difference from the stagnant worlds we were living in. Another positive outcome of the pandemic in my life was learning how to crochet. Having all my university classes be through Zoom or recorded lectures was difficult for me because I found it hard to sit and stay engaged. Being able to crochet during these discussions and lectures allowed me to focus on what my peers and teachers were talking about without getting distracted by other things. The actions of both crocheting and of surfing have kept me engaged in my body throughout the pandemic. For these reasons, I created this self-portrait that depicts my love for surfing, made out of crocheted yarn, twisted macrame, and various other materials. This angle of my piece shows a view of the ocean from the sand. At the bottom of the frame, you can see the kinetic sand I used sitting underneath the swirling white macrame rope that is meant to represent a crashing wave. I wanted to depict myself with a little outstretched hand and my surfboard, both made of clay, tumbling around in the white water, to show that wiping out was part of why I loved surfing. The only way to get better was to fall and make mistakes. In the background, you can see a little figure, also made of clay, grabbing the rail of a sea glass surfboard, cruising down the line of a curling wave. Although this person is not me, I wanted to include someone shredding behind my wipeout because the sweet moment of when you're riding that wave is what drives me to keep paddling out through the surf. This side angle really shows the details of the crocheted ocean, with all its texture and color. Instead of sticking to a pattern, I made wavy lines out of big and small stitches as I pleased, and added in other colors when it felt right. Making the wave three-dimensional so that it curled around the surfer was especially fun and challenging. Behind the wave, on the right side of this image, I used string and a sewing needle to embroider 3 surfers sitting on their boards in the lineup and one who had just made it over the wave. I never appreciated the social aspect of surfing more than once the pandemic limited who we could safely interact with. Sharing a community space as well as a love for surfing with others became incredibly important to me.